one of my biggest struggles with a small business is feeling like I am always working on something. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the channel if you are new here. Welcome back if you are already subscribed. I'm Rachel and this is Moon Mystic Cottage. In this video, it's going to be a little bit of a chatty video. I want to catch you up on how that fall market went. This is actually my second time recording this because the first time I did it, I kind of had an idea of what I was going to do with my leftover product from that market, and now I'm feeling a little bit unsure about some of it. So grab a coffee if you've got coffee. I actually just started up my wax warmer here, and I still had some of my older wax melts that I had made from a year ago left over, and so I'm going to add woody pumpkin spice. This one is called, I have it called something a little bit different in my shop. I think it's just, oh, it's spiced sandalwood because there is a sandalwood scent in this. So I'm gonna open this up and put a couple of them in my wax warmer. This wax warmer is from Walmart. It's a Scentsationals brand, not affiliated with Walmart at all. But this one can hold about 2 ounces of wax. So if you have a wax warmer that holds around 2 ounces, my newer regular wax melt, like tart shapes, can pretty much fit inside of one of these. And these were pumpkin shapes. This one has some glitter in it. There we go. I don't know if that'll start to really melt a whole lot during this video, but I guess we'll find out. All right, so back on September 14th, I sold at a fall market that was the biggest sort of event that I had ever sold at in southern Minnesota. And it was 120 vendors, I think a few more than that because there were food vendors outside and whatnot. And this was definitely a busy event, busiest I've ever done. And people were waiting outside the door, whole bunch of people. They do have the doors locked until it is 9 o'clock when the event starts. And so it was really cool to see all of these people coming in. This event had like 4 different aisles that people could go down to look at all the different vendors. I was in kind of like, so say the door was over here, I was kind of like back here, the row back here. It wasn't a bad spot. There were a couple other vendors nearby that had really awesome items that a lot of people were looking at, so it wasn't a bad spot. My wax melts were my best seller at this event, and I'm gonna add a clip and like a picture here so that you can see a little bit of how I had things set up. I really like my wood shelves that are foldable that I use for my display for my wax melts. A little bit of a faux pas on my part. I didn't plan it out well enough. I should have had a little bit better display set up. So if I do events in the future with my wax melts, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about those, I need to display them in a slightly better way. So because they were kind of slipping off of my little wood shelf there. So bad planning on my side of things was kind of a bummer. I had a friend of mine come with, and she did an awesome job as like my sales lady. She knows who she is if she sees this video. Thank you. I don't know how anybody can do an event like that without help. So thank you. Some other things about how this market went. I think because I'm a little bit like ADHD when it comes to creating items, creating product, I had too much to look at. And that is something that I'm going to kind of get into here with in a little bit. I make too many different kinds of things. That is something I have struggled with over these past 4 years. And it's something that I am trying to really nail down exactly what is my small business about. It's definitely about the wax melts. I have plans for expanding my wax melts, and I will try to talk a little bit about that. But all the other product, I think that there was a lot of confusion from people. There were a lot of people looking. People were looking at my crocheted bags. They were looking at my crocheted ice pumpkin latte plushie that I had, but nobody was buying those items. Yeah, I sold one of my bags, but it wasn't even one of the newer bags I had crocheted for this event. So I sold a few of my baked goods. Again, I sold a good number of my wax melts. One of the scents I completely sold out of. It was cucumber and green tea, maybe. Basically, I think my display kind of confused people. Maybe more on like a subconscious sort of level, a psychological something or another, where it's just too much to look at and you can't decide whether or not you want to actually go in and look more at what is being sold. I definitely had signs, you know, especially for my wax melts, you know, signs were there. It's really interesting how many people don't read signs, even though it's right there. You know, I don't know. I just always thought that was so interesting to me that signs are right there with the price of the wax melts and nobody reads them. I don't know. I think it's just the way our life is with phones and everything. I ideally needed to double what I made, because I only made a few $100s. I don't want to get into like super specifics of it. I don't know, I guess just personal choice. But it was only a few $100s, okay? I really needed to double that. Now, I will say that that few hundred that I did make on that day was probably more than I've made at previous events that I've done. I have not done very many events. I'll make that very clear. I have not done that many. I've sold at my local farmers market in previous years. I've done a few events, like a handful of events, but not that many. And so yeah, I don't really have a good event to compare this particular one to. Ideally though, I needed to double my revenue, and that just didn't happen. When a market doesn't go well, you know, what do we do about it, right? How do we improve for next time? And I think the biggest things are to really think about what is your strategy going into the event. Maybe researching some ideas, some strategies beforehand of how to, when I say strategy, I'm talking about the product that you're making for the event. Do things tie together, which is one of my issues. How are you displaying your items? What kind of shelving units or baskets, whatever are you using? Does your display kind of match the vibe of the event? Because that definitely can matter. People might feel a bit more cozy in a sense. If it's a fall event, they might feel a little more cozy or something like that, walking into your booth space, because it feels right in a sense. The number of products that you have displayed. And I want to use an example here of Bath and Body Works. Now, I haven't stepped into a Bath and Body Works store in a long time. I don't have one that close to me. But we all know that they sell fragrance or scented skincare and home fragrance items, right? You have candles. I believe they have a few wax melts. They have their body care, their soaps, etc. But it's all within that category of products. It's all scented product. Of course, there's the like accessory sort of things. You got your hand sanitizer holders and those cute things like that, the plugins, stuff like that, right? But the majority of their product all falls under scented home and bath product. That is something to think about when you are working on your own product for your small business. Does it tie together? And guess what? Mine was not tying together. Some of what I had created for this market were things that I was just trying to use up the yarn that I had, because I had it for a while, maybe a couple of years, and I didn't know what do I do with this product at this point, like, or with this yarn, this whatever, this raw material. What do I do with it? I don't know, you know. So that's where some of this came into play. Like, I had made some really cute hats, which I think I'm going to definitely keep one for myself if I didn't already, because they're kind of cute. I crocheted those cotton bags, and I'll try and kind of like add in some clips here and whatnot to show you some of these items, and just things didn't go together with the wax melts. That is something to really think about when you are preparing for an event, let alone a bigger event where it's well over 100 vendors. What might help you to stand out? Is it a sign? Is it the color of your tablecloths? Is it the product itself, which, you know, I mean, let's be real here. Some of us make things that don't necessarily just go pow right in somebody's face, right? And it's like, oh, look at that, you know? Like, for example, my wax melts, they're not just the super bright colored thing, right? You got to step up to it and sniff it, right? Sniff it and take a look at it, you know, to really understand, like, oh, these are wax melts. Awesome. Read the signs, you know? So yes, just really thinking about that display and being prepared ahead of time, not waiting for the day of the event to remember, oh, I don't have change. I don't have money for cash payments that people make or something like that. I had change. Don't worry. I'm not saying that here, but just something that I think sometimes people overlook. And then the other thing too is, like, don't give up after just one of these events, that if it doesn't go super well. Try to make improvements for your next one. There is going to be a spring show for this particular event. I haven't signed up for it yet. It is $130 to sign up, and I just don't have an extra $130 lying around to just throw at this event. You know, Christmas is coming, like all this stuff, right? Like, I need money for other things. I mean, I still have time to sign up for it, certainly. And so, but I'm still thinking about it, because I'm going to kind of get into this next part here, is how am I proceeding with the small business side of things? What am I doing going forward with my small business? Obviously, my YouTube channel is very new. It's very small still, and I appreciate every one of you that are here, have subscribed, and are watching. So thank you. I am going to continue with my wax melts, and I have plans for a couple of new product ideas with my wax melts, and I think I can share this here in this video. I am going to have a advent calendar wax melts. It'll probably be 12 cents, and you will be able to choose either the full size wax melts or the mini size wax melts. And I do plan to individually wrap each wax melt, put a number on it, you know, kind of like that. So that is not in my shop yet. You know, when I get to that point of having it ready, I will probably try to pin it in a comment on this video. So, but I think that'll be really fun. It's going to feature some new scents to my shop as well. And it'll definitely be limited. I'm only going to be able to make so many of them. My shop itself, which is just an Etsy shop at this time, it would be really cool to eventually have a website. That's kind of the idea. That is the plan. But the wax melts are kind of the focus right now. Now, as you can see back here, yarn. I have a lot of yarn. And this is where I'm having a hard time making some decisions for myself. I like to crochet. I also like to sew. I have some scrunchies and headbands in my shop right now, but I am going to discontinue those because they're just not really moving anywhere. And I actually have these items in a fall market sale shop or section in my shop, and they are on sale. And I'm going to gradually add these items I had made for this market, and they'll be in that section of my shop. So if you would like to support, if you'd like to check any of those out, they will be at a sale price in my shop. But when it comes to crochet, I really have to sit down and think this through, because yes, I like to crochet. I enjoy making things for myself and my kids, but I don't do enough of that actually. And I keep thinking about like, well, you know, I need to make something that I can sell. What am I going to make to sell? And that's where I have a really hard time. One thing that I have thought about in the past making is garlands, like decorative garland. And of course, decorative garland can be made out of a lot of different things, right? It can be made out of faux floral. It can be made out of ribbons and yarn. It can be something that's crocheted and so on. And I have found a couple of patterns that I am looking at, and I am just kind of now testing at the time of me recording this video. I'm just kind of figuring out now whether or not to make these, because it is something that I could make out of both my cotton and my acrylic yarns. And I can make it in fun, vibrant colors, in fall colors. So I'm kind of testing that out right now, and I'm gonna work on making one and see what I think about the idea overall and go from there. And then another thing is I'm working on something that I'm sewing, and it's going to actually be kind of like a patchwork quilted sort of item. So I don't have one made yet, and so I'm just going to kind of wait on that and maybe talk about that in a future video. And another thing too is the last little bit here of this video is, and I will say this really quick, I always have like so many thoughts and I can't get them all out in one video, and then this video ends up being way too long. So maybe if there's questions or whatever, I'll leave them down below or ideas, and I'll try to get back to them. So I'm 34 now. I have children, and one of my biggest struggles with a small business is feeling like I am always working on something. I work outside the home as well. I have a couple of part-time jobs, and then of course, just taking care of everything in the home. I'm currently a single parent household. So, you know, like doing everything is difficult, right? Trying to get everything done, the work outside the home, trying to also run a small business. It's hard. And I haven't been able to spend enough time with my kids. And that's hard. It's frustrating. And so this is another reason why I've got to figure out exactly how to narrow down what I make in my shop. So whether it's crochet garland that I stick with, along with the wax melts, and again, I'm experimenting with an item that is sewn, I have to have it narrowed down. I've got to try and get rid of the older product that I have, the things that I've already made, but I have to narrow down the focus, because I don't like when I'm always feeling like, okay, what do I make? What do I make? What do I make? What am I creating to sell, right? Always thinking about like, what is the next thing? How am I continuing with my crochet? What am I gonna crochet, you know? And I don't like that anymore. I want more time to read. I just recently got back into reading. Because I'll tell you right now, between ages of, 24 and 33, I barely read anything. I am somebody who consumes a lot of YouTube. I like to watch a lot of YouTube gamers and art channels and things like that. So, I have grown up with YouTube, like a lot of other people, but especially millennials that are right around my age. But I just started getting back into reading. And I'm currently reading the Witcher series, just on the first book. I have the second book as well. So, and then I have some other things that I want to get into. And I don't know if I would ever create some kind of video on this channel that has to do with books. Maybe. Another thing is I really enjoy baking. I eat gluten-free, and I also am testing out eating dairy-free as well. Dairy is an inflammatory food. Disclaimer, check with your doctor. But it's a known thing that dairy is an inflammatory food. I'm just working on some personal health-related things to get myself to a better place. And so I do hope to create some little baking videos and just sharing those creations with you. And if you see this here, this is a guitar, and there's currently yarn stuck on it. I want to properly learn guitar. I am somebody who really enjoys metal music along with other types, but I just, I had a guitar when I was a teenager, actually, about 16, 17, and I just never put in the effort. But I want to finally make that happen. And like, I can't do these things if I'm constantly stressing and worrying about what am I making? What am I creating for my small business? How am I going to get all this done? You know? And plus trying to make videos for a channel here, and yeah, just trying to find a way to slow down. And that's hard to do in this day and age. But I don't like the constant stress from what am I making? What am I making? Right? So I don't know exactly where this channel is going to go. There's definitely going to be a focus on wax melts, and I'll definitely think of some ways to record some of the crochet stuff and sewing stuff and whatnot. But some of those videos will come in time. And yeah, I'm gonna figure it out, you know, I'm gonna get there, gonna work on it, and just figure out like where I'm taking this small business. Because of course, like a small business, when it starts off as a product and then the person starts a YouTube channel, it doesn't just solely focus only on their product. Yes, there's plenty of people who do that, but there's also a lot who allow the YouTube channel to kind of take its own course, in a sense, where they create other types of videos that are not just solely focused on here's what I'm making today, you know. So okay, I think that's it. That was a lot of jibber jabber which I can go on and on about. I really appreciate if you made it this far in the video. Thank you for listening. Let me know if you have ideas or questions down below. Consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. And yeah, I think that's it. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on future events, and really think about your strategy going forward and find time to take a break and relax. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.